Oh, hey! I didn't see you there. What are you doing here? You want more information about maps, graphs, and charts? Well, you came to the right place. In this video, we will learn more about the different types of graphs and charts. We will also learn how to use the OPTIC strategy to analyze them. The first type of graph we will look at is a pie chart. They are perfect for comparing percentages. Look at our example pie chart. Can you guess the title of this pie chart? That's correct. It's a pie chart showing the favorite sports of students in the 6th grade. Can you tell what sport is the third most popular among 6th graders? Soccer is the most popular, followed by swimming. The third most popular sport is track. Let's move on to the next type of graph. The next type of graph we will look at is a bar graph. Bar graphs are an excellent way to compare numbers. The items being compared are often located along the horizontal axis. This is located along the bottom of the graph. In this example graph, the item being compared are different types of juice. The description of the value of the item being compared is often located along the vertical axis. This is normally on the left side of the graph. In this example, the value is the number of students who said that type of juice was their favorite. Can you tell how many students said either orange or purple juice was their favorite? You can see on the graph that 8 students preferred orange juice over the other types of juice. You can also see that 6 students preferred purple juice. If you combine these two values, you would get a total of 14 students. Now, let's move on to the next type of graph. The next type of graph we will look at is a line graph. The purpose of a line graph is to show trends or changes over time. Just like a bar graph, a line graph has information along horizontal and vertical axes. However, in a line graph, the horizontal axis shows the time period of the trend being compared, and the vertical axis shows the value of the trend being compared. Can you look at this line graph and tell what trend is being compared? That's right! This line graph is showing the temperatures in New York City. The title of a line graph will tell you what information is being compared. One more question. Can you tell which day saw the biggest increase in temperature from the day before? If you said day 2, you're correct. The temperature rose 10 degrees from day 1 to day 2, which is the biggest increase between days. Let's move on to the final type of graph we will be discussing. The final type of chart we will look at is called a table chart. Table charts are used for comparing the values of different items. Information in table charts is organized along rows and columns. Rows are the horizontal lines of information. Sometimes the rows will have titles, such as the ones in this graph. Columns are the vertical lines of information. Oftentimes, the type of items being compared can be found in the columns. In this example, the information being compared are the number of male and female students in each room. Can you tell from this chart which room had the most male students? That's correct. The games room had the most male students by far. Before moving on to the OPTIC strategy, let's do a quick review. We just reviewed 4 different types of charts and graphs. The first type was a pie chart. Pie charts are used for comparing percentages. Next was the bar graph. Bar graphs are used for comparing numbers. The third one was a line graph. These are used to compare trends or changes over time. The final type of chart was a table chart. Tables are used to compare values of different items. Now let's move on and learn the OPTIC strategy for analyzing maps, graphs, and charts. The OPTIC strategy is a great way to analyze maps, graphs, and charts to make sure we can understand the information being presented to us. OPTIC is an acronym to help us remember each step of the strategy. The O stands for overview. In this step, you describe the graphic. Ask yourself, what type of map, graph, or chart am I looking at? The P stands for parts. In this step, you describe the parts and the details of the graphic. Ask yourself, what do the labels or symbols mean? You would also locate the legend or key in this step. The T stands for title. Locate the title of the graphic and ask yourself, what does this title tell me about the graphic? You can also ask yourself, what do I already know about this subject or topic? The I stands for interrelationships. In this step, you ask, how are the parts and title connected to each other? And finally, the C stands for conclusions. This is where you ask yourself, what new information can I learn from this graphic? If the graphic had a question, this would also be the step where you would answer the question. Now that we have reviewed the OPTIC strategy, let's try it together. Looking at this graph, we're going to go through the steps of OPTIC, starting with O, overview. What type of map, graph, or chart am I looking at? This is a bar graph, so I know I'm going to be comparing numbers. Next is P for parts. What do the labels, symbols, or other details mean? The names of different countries are located along the horizontal axis, and large numbers are located along the vertical axis. Next is T for title. What does the title tell me about this graphic? What do I already know about this subject or topic? The title is Top 5 Most Populated Countries. It also says Most Populated Countries in Millions. Next is I for interrelationships. How are the parts and title connected to each other? Now I know the numbers on the side represent the population in millions of each country. And finally C, conclusions. What new information can I learn from this graphic? One of the many things I can tell from this graphic is China is the most populated country in the world with almost 1.4 billion people. What conclusions can you draw? So there you have it. That's everything there is to know about charts and graphs and the OPTIC strategy. Now it's your turn to try. Don't worry, you got this.